What a night. Thank you, Rollins. This is so inspiring. These stories of hope, these stories of progress, we are allowed to hear this tonight. I feel so fortunate to be here. Monse, your courage, your team's courage to go where you go. I'm reminded when I was young and I was going to like a new school, you feel intimidated, you feel like an imposter. We know this feeling, right? But to go there and go again, it's amazing the courage your team has. Thank you so much. We all need this courage to change the world. And Badil, oh my, the next generation, here they come. It's so beautiful to hear you talk. I can hear a young revolutionary when I hear you talk. It's fantastic. And when I hear these stories of youth and change, I think of my own two children and the world they grow up in. It's much different than the world I grew up in. My hope is that to create a better world, the youth are leading in our communities everywhere. Aisa, wow. A few months ago, I saw the resilience of the people of Burkina Faso firsthand, and it so touched my heart. You heard this tonight. And when I heard the women leaders speak from their hearts about what they wanted in their communities on their terms, this is creating a world without hunger, even in the face of conflict. Now, to be honest, we're all going to go out of this room, and on some days, it is very hard to feel hopeful. The 2020s are a volatile decade. We are seeing it. It's not only Burkina Faso, there's conflict all over. There's climate change impacting people all over the world. And of course, just this week in the Middle East. I have felt so much sadness and anger watching these images. It's just shocking. And the human suffering, the lost lives, and with it comes renewed, and sadly familiar language of hate. That's not a world I want to be a part of. Our next generation deserves better. In fact, every one of us deserves better. And this decade, all of the challenges we feel, we need the Hunger Project more than ever before. Some people ask me, they say, what does the Hunger Project do? Well, tonight you've heard some really great stories about what we do, our day-to-day activities, our trainings, our engagement, how we do what we do. And I hope you also heard that for communities, our partnership is very, very meaningful. I like to think the Hunger Project is a friend and a supporter and a partner to the people living with the most difficult situations in the world. We are there standing side by side, often for years, with those living in hunger. And we do whatever it takes to help them achieve that vision. We help communities gain courage. Courage to stand up in the face of injustice, in the face of oppression. 2 months ago, I was in Senegal, and I traveled with the team to a very, very remote village. And they were celebrating. They were celebrating what we call self-reliance. And again, on their terms, they asked what's so and what's missing. And the women of that village said, we need healthy, nutritious food for everybody in this village, no exception. And in the middle of Senegal, very remote area, they created a bakery and a kitchen to feed every one of the village's children. Unbelievable. We know this works. We've seen a 31% decrease in severe hunger. 31%. 27% decrease in household poverty. We've seen entrepreneurship, 25% increase in women-owned businesses. And we know that this lasts. When we go back to communities, many, many years later, after we've left, we find this self-reliance and the pride that you just can't take away. They do this themselves. We are their friend and their partner. And collectively, as an organization, we go beyond this effort to stand with communities. We work to transform the way the world even thinks about how to tackle hunger. Because after all, how do you solve hunger? Food, right? This work takes time. And this is something we are familiar with at the Hunger Project. Since we were founded, we've shifted the mindset. People once thought hunger is inevitable. There's always going to be some hungry people in the world. But right now, the United Nations has declared a zero hunger target. We were behind that target. It's now viewed as possible to create a world without hunger. Now, we're up against these new challenges this decade, and we have begun thinking again. We know what works, and we know how we can reach even more people around the world and have even greater impact. And the past year, we've been engaging all of our teams around the world to help us create a new vision and articulate that for the Hunger Project. You've heard it tonight many times. Here's the vision: a world without hunger. It's 2023. We have enough food on the planet to feed all 8 billion of us. Why is there hunger? You heard it earlier. It's a reflection of the way that we relate to each other. It's a byproduct of injustice, of systems of inequity. Hunger is an equity challenge, and I would say it's the equity challenge of our time. We're here to transform these systems because we believe so deeply in this world without hunger. And the next era of the Hunger Project, it's about continuing the good work that you heard tonight in all these communities and even amplifying that work. We are going to join this growing movement so that every human being on the planet has access to healthy and nutritious food. We're moving forward with an aligned voice, with passion of our next generation, with the power of the private sector. I want to ask you to join me. You're already with us. In our communities, in our lives, we can all be better. We can all contribute to a world without hunger. You're doing that tonight by being here. Thank you very, very much.